Hey guys, my name is Josh. Welcome to Bastards of the Watch. I've already posted an Avengers Endgame spoiler review, and this is going to be the beginning of the Game of Thrones spoiler review. If you guys like my content, please do drop down, like, and subscribe. If you would like to be notified in the future whenever I post content, please do hit the little bell. And I hope y'all enjoy the video. Thanks, guys. We're going to go over Game of Thrones and everything that took place in the Battle of Winterfell. It was a very intense episode, and honestly, I kind of want to watch it one more time tonight just because I could not see shit. I don't know if y'all had the same problem, but like the lighting in the battle scene sucked. Okay, it sucked. And I get they were trying to create the snowstorm, and it was causing low visibility for the soldiers and for the dragons, and creating more of a horror type of feel to it, where you're not really sure what's coming, but once you see what's coming, it's like holy shit! Like, you know, for example, the White Walkers, whenever they finally reach the Unsullied lines, and then the Dothraki, when Melisandre whenever lit their Araks, is that what it's called? Their swords, whatever their sword things, I think it's called an Araka, or a rock, or something like that. Anyways, when she went over and lit those on fire, and the Dothraki charged, and you just see the lights slowly go out one at a time. So, yeah, that's when you see the Dothraki's swords just going out one at a time, and it was freaking incredible. The fear that it put into you, the questions that you were asking when it's going on. What the hell just happened to Jorah? You know, where's Ghost? Where did Ghost go? And we never saw Ghost after that. I'm still wondering what the hell happened to Ghost. I mean, I guess I figure there's no way he made it through that. It's possible. We're gonna check out while we're doing this video. We're gonna go ahead and check out the next week on Game of Thrones clip to see, first of all, what they're setting up for, what we have left as far as characters are concerned, as far as military force is concerned, because from what we saw, Daenerys pretty much lost all of the Dothraki. She pretty much lost a great majority of the Unsullied. I've already watched some of that next week on Game of Thrones clip. Two other things I noticed were that Rhaegal showed up in it, and that was questionable. Like, we weren't sure if Rhaegal was okay, because at the end when Daenerys was crying, the only dragon you saw comforting her was Drogon, and that's when Jorah Mormont died. Just so many huge moments this weekend, guys. Like, Sunday, I went to see Avengers Endgame yesterday, and I went to see, and then, you know, we got home, and we had to kind of settle ourselves down from that and get in the mood for Game of Thrones, because we knew it was going to be a somber tone, and we knew it was going to be this and that, and we were just still amped, because Avengers Endgame was what it was. It was incredible. Once we got back, once we had a few glasses of wine, me and Shay's girl I'm seeing, and she went with me to Endgame yesterday, and she was a mess during the movie. I was trying to hold back some tears through, you know, Cap and Iron Man and what all took place there, the way they wrapped up Cap's story, and just it was an emotional roller coaster all day. It was probably the greatest Sunday of cinematic beauty of my life. I mean, it was incredible. To go from Endgame to Battle of Winterfell, it was the best choice I could have made, to go and see that movie and to watch Game of Thrones. Watching it all in one day was, I cannot stress how cool it was. So as we're watching Game of Thrones, of course, the mood gets more somber, and much more intense, because, you know, once they start this battle, you're just like on the edge, like, who the fuck is about to die? Did that person just die? Oh wait, they're over here. Oh, there's dragons. Okay, so now they're burning them while this huge wall of White Walkers is attacking the Unsullied. And then just the way it just jumped from scene to scene, it was just intense moment after intense moment. Arya running through the crypts of Winterfell when they're finally coming over the wall. Again, there were a lot of points when you couldn't really see shit, and it was kind of disorienting and confusing, which is why I want to go back and watch it again tonight, just to get a feel for just exactly what happened. I know we still have Jaime, Brienne, Pod, we still have Jon Snow, Daenerys, we still have Arya, Sansa, Tyrion, Hound, we still have. Looked like Tormund might have still been alive. It kept just showing kind of the back of his head, but it was the wildling dress, so I assumed it was him. We saw Beric Dondarrion die. We saw Ed from the Night's Watch die. Sam was questionable. I feel like at one point I saw him getting stabbed by White Walkers, and then the next he was like lying on a pile of dead bodies, kind of crying, still awake, still conscious, still there, but probably on the edge. He needed a maester, so we don't know if he's going to make it through that or not. Bran made it. There was, of course, I wish you guys could have seen my reaction when Arya killed the Night King. I'm sure y'all probably had very much the same reaction. I'm sure all of the neighbors on all sides of my apartment heard me when that happened, because when she just came out of nowhere and like the Night King choked, like grabbed her by the neck, I was like, shit, he's about to kill Arya. He's about to kill Arya. It's about to happen. We're about to lose another Stark today. I can't do this. And then Arya dropped that fucking knife and just it was great. I've got to admit, like, my reaction to it was exactly that. I was very excited, but in hindsight, after I thought about it for a little bit, I was like, you know what? They sat there and teased that we were gonna get a sword fight between Jon Snow and the Night King ever since the Hardhome episode. Like they've been teasing that since Hardhome. I think that was season 5, maybe. I'll have to go back and look to be exact, but I believe it was season 5, one of the later episodes in the season. And so we never got to see that. They even teased it in the episode last night, whenever he's chasing down the Night King, and the Night King just races all the dead, and then he has to fight his way out of that, and Daenerys comes in with the dragon and saves him. I don't know, guys. I gotta admit, I was a little disappointed in that, but it paid off to see Arya do that, and for them to just drag out that suspense for as long as they possibly could, right up until like the final almost 10 to 15 minutes of the episode. Like, you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and Arya coming out of nowhere and just stabbing that White Walker King in the gut. It was great. She saved Jon Snow. Jon Snow was about to die at the hands of Viserion, White Walker Viserion. Lyanna Mormont died at the hands of a giant. She was getting crushed, but she also managed to kill the giant by stabbing him in the eye with a dragon glass dagger. So that was cool. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the show plays out from here, because my prediction was that the White Walkers were going to go to the end of the series. I mean, why not? They started them episode 1, and they're supposed to be just this big, huge threat, and apocalyptic threat. And so I kind of thought it was going to play out in a way that, they were going to lose the Battle of Winterfell, and then they were going to have to go on the retreat, and then while on the retreat, they would have to encounter Cersei's forces, and one, either have to actually deal with them and fight them and kill them, or have to try and talk them into joining them. And then from there, you would get your scene where the dragon flies over Winterfell. That's been teased since, I think, episode 2 or 3, season 1, episode 2 or 3. Bran's having the vision of the dragon flying over Winterfell. Right now, the way things are, my entire theory is blown to shit. So I'm not exactly sure where they're going with next week's episode. I'm not exactly sure where they're going with the rest of the storyline. I mean, obviously, they're going to have to encounter Cersei first, so it may just be another build-up episode. We just may get 2 more build-up episodes to the battle between Cersei and Daenerys and Jon. Maybe death in this battle decides who takes the Iron Throne, so somebody wins it by default, whether that be Cersei, Daenerys, or Jon Snow. I'm still siding with the fact that I think Jon Snow is going to take the Iron Throne, just because he has been the secret main character throughout the series, and that they have teased his lineage throughout the series ever so slightly in the first season, and then slowly building up as the series goes along. And also the idea that Daenerys has been played out to be a bad guy ever since she landed in Westeros. Not really a bad guy, just someone who's being very, very ultra aggressive with her tactics and with the way she's treating the lords and the lords of Westeros, setting Samuel Tarly's father and brother on fire, and the way she's dealt with kind of the political atmosphere in Winterfell between Sansa and her and Sansa had that nice little talk in episode 2 of this season, and it even ended on a question mark. With Sansa asking her, what happens to Winterfell? What happens to my brother's crown? Are we going to be independent, or are you going to make us subjects to you? And are you going to be willing to fight for that? It's not exactly what she said, but in so many words, it's pretty much what she said. We never got an answer out of Daenerys for that. We never got an answer from her when she finally realized who Jon Snow was, when they had their discussion down in the crypts and Jon Snow told her about Lyanna Stark and how she married Rhaegar and how he was their baby, and told her his real name, Aegon Targaryen. So we saw a little bit of her reaction of, oh, well, that's very convenient that it's your brother and your best friend that told you this information. And then Jon Snow continues to talk with her, and she almost seems kind of settled down, and then all of a sudden we hear the bells for the Battle of Winterfell, and that's when they start setting the battle scene at the end of episode 2 to carry over into episode 3. So we never got an answer as to how Daenerys is going to handle this whole Jon Snow situation, Jon Snow, Aegon Targaryen situation. We never got an answer as to how she's going to approach Winterfell and their independence and how she's going to treat that or feel about that. We've, for the most part, just gotten a selfish tunnel vision, a selfish Daenerys, a Daenerys with very much just tunnel vision of, that's my throne, I want that throne, nobody else is taking my throne, and nobody else is interfering with the 7 kingdoms with which fall under that throne. So it's got me very much scared for her future, and the fact that we have 3 episodes left does mean they have more time to build on a bad guy Daenerys storyline. So whether she redeems herself or whether they go full Daenerys bad guy is yet to be seen. It's getting kind of dark in here, so hang on, I'm going to turn on the light. I'll be right back. That's worse. Alright, so we're still not sure if they're going to go with a full Daenerys bad guy storyline, if it's going to end up being a battle between Jon Snow and Daenerys at the end, or whether the rest of the series is going to center on Daenerys and Jon Snow trying to beat Cersei Lannister. With that being said, I think I've gone over just about everything that I can think of for both Avengers Endgame and for Game of Thrones. We're going to go into a video real quick. Give me a minute to pull it up. Let's see. Season 8, Episode 4. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be it right here. I'm going to go ahead and get it set up so you guys can see. Yep, y'all can see right there. Boom. So we see Cersei and King's Landing right here, and I'm just going to pause as we go through this. And let me make sure pressing spacebar doesn't do anything to stop my recording or take down. Okay, yeah, we're good. Alright, so bring that back up. Okay, so we saw Cersei and King's Landing there. We saw the troops, the Golden Company kind of assembling in the King's Landing courtyard. And right here, if we go back just ever so slightly, we can see Unsullied here, so it appears that Daenerys does still have some Unsullied soldiers left for the battle with Cersei.
We have won the Great War. Now we will win the last war.
the North rallying behind Daenerys, as we can see there, possibly behind both Daenerys and Jon Snow. Again, we don't know how that dynamic is going to play out just yet. Hopefully, I mean, it does end on a note where they both come together and decide to try and share the throne. I think that's just a little too fairy tale for Game of Thrones. I just don't think it's going to play out that way. But we saw Daenerys. Hold on. It looks like Daenerys with Drogon there. And that was Viserion. So that to me. Hold on. Let's see if we can get them all in frame. So that green and yellow, that's Viserion. So if that is next week's episode, it appears he does indeed make it out. Let's go right here. It looks like both of them here in frame. So I think I said Viserion. It's Rhaegal. So Rhaegal is going to be back next episode. We see both of the dragons in frame here. It looks like Rhaegal right here in the forefront. They made sure to highlight that. Or is that Drogon? It's kind of hard to tell, but I can almost see kind of the yellowish shade to it, so I'm going to say that's Rhaegal. Anyways, let alone, it is both dragons right there. You see Sansa staring off at them. So those are some key points that we need to pull from this. We still have a little bit of an unsullied force. We still have 2 dragons. We still probably have a significant amount of the northern force that was inside the walls at the time that the battle went down. We still have the Hound, and much of what might consist of the King's Guard after all is said and done, with Jaime, Brienne, Pod, the Hound. And beyond that, I'm not sure. Tormund, maybe. Beyond that, I'm not sure who else would qualify for Kingsguard that didn't die. Beric Dondarrion died. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see, guys.
We'll rip her out, root and stem.
Boom. So there we go, guys. That's the that's going to be the preview for next week. I can't believe we're fine. I can't believe we're past the Battle of Winterfell, as much as it's been talked up the past few weeks, as much as it's really the past year. I mean, we've been waiting on this for almost a year and a half, and Battle of Winterfell is come and gone. Night King's dead, guys. So it's only a battle for the throne now, which I guess is appropriate. It is the Game of Thrones. It's appropriate that it would finish off on the Game of Thrones, on who takes the throne. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night and rewatch that episode because it was incredible. And I welcome you guys to join me again next time. If you liked what you saw today, please do jump down in the comments, like and subscribe if you so choose. And if you would like to be notified in the future when I post more content, please do hit that little bell. I'll catch y'all next time. Wrong button.